I said I'd never buy a Contax, but this 137 MA Quartz came up and I jumped on it. And here's why. Check it out. So that's the specs, that's how it looks, that's how it operates, but let me just tell you how it feels in the hand. This camera feels fantastic. It's marketed as being one of the prosumer models for the Contax range of that era. I had to buy this camera. I saw it on eBay. The person had listed it as being a garage find, a barn find, and it was listed for $20. And I know people keep saying, you know, you're listing these $20 cameras, it's unrealistic. This is 100% realistic. If you look on keh.com right now, there is one of these 137 MAs for sale for around $40. And the thing is with KEH is if they say it's working, then it's working. This was listed as is, so it may not have worked. I understood when I purchased it that it may not have worked, but it does work. And here's the thing with these Contax cameras. This MA takes AA batteries. So all you do is if you open the base, you can see it takes AA batteries. And yeah, that makes it a little bit heavy in the hand. Obviously I'm holding 4 AA batteries, but I kind of like it, you guys. You see this gray? This is the old cover, the old coating has come off. But I like the way that feels. It feels soft, almost like that old jacket that you had in the past, that leather jacket you've had for 10 years and got really soft. So I'm not gonna cover that. You can buy covers on Etsy for like $8 and redo it in leopard print or whatever you like, but I'm leaving as it is. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. And this MA is absolutely wonderful. Now here's the thing. This camera is motor drive. You hear that? It sounds awesome. Yeah, if you want to shoot street with this, people are going to hear you taking pictures and they might have something to say. But for an everyday camera, I take on vacation, I take to the beach or whatever, it's wonderful. And it says Contax on it, so I feel a little bit bougie. Listen, this has so many cool features. We're going to check it out right now. Let's have a look at the features. Let's run through it and we'll see what we're dealing with. Boom. Viewfinder. On the right is my exposure. At the top, my f-stop. And on the left, how many photos I've taken. Real nice. Huge viewfinder. 5.56 is the f-stop. Beautiful. The 137MA then. Look at the front of this. It looks awful, but trust me, it feels great in the hand. This is the flashlight for the self timer. That's a 10-second self timer. This button to release the lens. We have those 2 red dots. It's a Yashica Contax lens mount. So you line the red dots up, turn it to the right. Good to go. Easy peasy. Press this button and turn left and that lens will just come off. It's a bayonet fitting. At the top then, this is the control wheel. Turn it to the center to turn everything on. That red light indicates you can fire the shutter. There you go. All the way to the bottom is AE lock. That's exposure lock. This button here controls the self timer. You see I put it to ST, self timer, S single shot, and C continuous. That's 3 frames a second. The timer light is blinking. That's 10 seconds until we get our image. Set your buddies up and then you'll be good to go for that nice group shot. Boom, done. On the top then, I just leave it in single shot mostly, but if you put it on the bottom, that's exposure lock. You can lock in that exposure. That's our frame counter, obviously 36 exposures, and this is our rewind button, so you depress that. ASA indicator, nice big viewfinder on this camera. It is so good. Depress this button here so we can move our shutter speeds from auto all the way to up to 10,000 if you want it. I just leave it in auto at the moment, but this is our rewind handle, so I can rewind my film manually. We have the ASA selector switch. All you do is lift up and turn in order to select that. So lift it and turn it, set it and lock it in. I can add my flash extender here. On the bottom then, this takes 4 AA batteries, lefty-loosey. Put those batteries in. When you're not using the camera and you're storing it, make sure you take the batteries out because they do tend to leak over time. That's our tripod mount there as well. The camera itself, it's 600 odd grams, so it feels pretty good in the hand. We got a hot shoe on the back, sorry, a hot shoe on the top as well, so we can take that beautiful flash and get those night shots. Just lift up the winding handle and boom, you'll be able to pop the back open. That's the back of the camera, inside the camera. You see the shutter moving as I fire the shutter there. And then we can just open it and let's see what it feels like or looks like with the film in. There's a 36 exposure expired film. I just drop that in, nice and simple. Lift up my rewinding wheel to just drop this in. A little bit fiddly, but in she goes. And then just lay the film across. Make sure that you are securely in those advancing lugs. Just pop the leader down into one of those slots and then shut the door. Click. Pop the lever down. Fire it a couple of times. And then you're going to be able to shoot your film. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful camera. Overall, you guys, I am so impressed. I would say definitely purchase this camera for $20, $40, but make sure you buy a Carl Zeiss lens, Now, the Carl Zeiss lenses can go for up to, $400 or $500, but I picked one up for $100, and it's wonderful. So yeah, go Carl Zeiss with this Contax body, and you won't go far wrong. Here's one of the drawbacks with this camera. The lenses for it, the Carl Zeiss lenses, are super expensive. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars for those lenses. I mean, they're fantastic, but I didn't go for the Carl Zeiss. I went for the Yashica bayonet fit. I'll list the mount reference on the screen right here, the mount reference. But yeah, pretty simple. I just went to KEH and I bought a Yashica 28mm. And I think I spent, like $20 for this lens. I mean, it's not going to be super sharp. It is what it is, but it's 28mm. It'll capture the composition that I want, and I'll still be able to get those beautiful images. I mean, that I'll be happy with. No, I'm not going to use it to shoot people's portraits and then charge them money. But for a camera that I'm going to use, that's absolutely fine. So I have a automatic camera with shutter priority, aperture priority. It says Contax on it. It's got that Contax feel and that Contax build. All in all, less than $50 for this bad boy. Now, if you want that self-advanced shutter, then you're not gonna like this camera. But you know what? I love that it's automatic. A lot of my Nikon 80s, 90s SLR cameras, they're automatic. My F100 is automatic. So I quite like that. And to be honest, you guys, I'm gonna stick this in aperture priority. I'm gonna adjust my aperture. The shutter speed and everything else will be worked out by Contax, and I'll get those wonderful images. I'm super happy. Size comparisons, let's have a look. My Pentax Super Program, which I love, we know this, versus the Contax MA. You can see there's a big difference. This bad boy is huge, and the weight, you can fill those 4 AA batteries. Obviously, this takes LR44, I believe, 2 LR44s, and this is a beast. But, this camera I have to self-wind. It's a little more retro, whereas in this is an 80s beast. All right, so you can see the kind of difference we're dealing with there. That's an MG midget. That's a BMW M5 from the 80s, in my opinion. But in comparison to my Nikons, this is my F100. The F100 is a bit bigger. The F100 has so many more features. I mean, if you're going for an SLR that you want to do everything, then I'm gonna say go get the F100. That's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful camera. But these are $200, $20 for the Contax. And I actually prefer the look of this Contax camera, and I'm gonna be less precious about it when I take it and I use it. So here's my next plan. I'm gonna take this Contax 137 with me this weekend, this MA with me this weekend to West Virginia. I'm gonna shoot a roll of film through it, and this is what I'm gonna do. I would never ordinarily do this. I'm gonna buy some Portra 400, I'm gonna splurge, and the first roll of film I'll put through this camera is gonna be Portra 400. I would never normally do that, okay? If you buy a camera that's sold as is, that's sold as unworking, as sold as not working, I would say put a really cheap film stock through it first. Think about it like a Tinder date, all right? That first date, you're not gonna buy a bottle of Chateau Neuf de Pape. No, it's gonna be $2 Chuck, just in cases. But because this is Contax, because this is bougie, she's getting the Chateau Neuf, she's getting the Portra 400, and hopefully it doesn't chew it up, and hopefully I don't waste my money. We'll see. I'll post the pictures later on. But for now, you guys, Contax 137 MA Quartz, Yashica 28mm bayonet fit lens. Let's do some shooting. Let's see how we go. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for checking in. Love this camera. Excited to shoot it. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.